Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Chris, and I just recently passed my OSCP Plus exam with a full 100 points on my first try with zero prior cyber experience. And I wanted to create this YouTube series to kind of showcase how I hack machines on Hack the Box in preparation for this exam, and hopefully give you some tips that can help you in your studies for the OSCP or similar exams. So, with that being said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the next machine. All right, so starting out, we're gonna run the box keeper. It's an easy box on Hack the Box. And again, easy machines I feel like are very similar to what you're gonna see on the OSCP. Easy and medium on Hack the Box I feel like are very similar to your like intermediate and hards, proving grounds, community ratings. So keeper's a good machine to practice on. And let's go ahead and get started. Let me move this window over. I've already got Kali pulled up over here. I always start my machines by running auto recon like I talked about in my last video. Auto recon's a great tool. And I already ran it ahead of time for this video, and you can see there's only two ports open on this machine. We have SSH on 22 and HTTP on 80. So we know there's a web server running, so let's go ahead and navigate to that web server. We're going to copy our IP address from over here and paste it in. And as you can see, we have just one single thing on the page here. We'll review the page source just to double check. Yeah, one single thing. And if we click it, we can see in the corner down there, it says tickets.keeper.hackthebox or htb./rt. And when we click that, we're not able to navigate to that website because we haven't added that to our host file yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. We're going to head over into a terminal, and we're going to edit that host file under etc hosts, enter our password. And as you can see, I already have it in here from my previous use. I'm just going to change our new IP when I reset the machine. And as you can see, I added that tickets.keeper.hackthebox and keeper.htb rather. I added both of those just in case we have to navigate to anything that also has the that doesn't use the tickets subdomain. So I'm going to go ahead and write that and quit. Then I'm going to navigate back to my web page, and I'm going to refresh. All right, so now that we have the default page loaded up, we can see we have a login page in the corner here. It's a little small to see. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. It says request tracker, and we can see the version 4.4.4, and we have a username and password. So the first thing I like to check is for default usernames and passwords. So we're going to do request tracker default login. We're going to Google that, and Google's handy dandy AI is going to tell us that the default login is root and password. So we're going to enter the username as root, and we're going to enter the password as password, hit enter to log in, and boom, we have administrative access to this request tracker server. So the first thing we're going to do, because this is a ticket tracking software, we're going to go ahead and look at our search bar, and then we're going to go to tickets. We're going to look at our recently viewed, and we see this 300,000 ticket that we can click on. And if we scroll down here, we can see that the user had some issues with the KeyPass program, and they included a crash dump for it. And then the administrator said they saved it to their home directory and removed the attachment. So we can't pull that KeyPass file off of this website right now, but it's a good thing to keep in the back of our mind for later. We also see there's a user here called Inogard, I don't know how to pronounce this. But anyways, let's do some additional research on that user. So we're going to go to our admin panel. We're going to hover over users, and we're going to go to select so we can see our users. And we see this user Inogard. And if we scroll down, we see under the notes, we have a comment with a password in it. Welcome 2023. So we're going to go ahead and write a note for that. So we're going to get welcome in there, and then we're going to copy the username right here. And then because we saw there was an SSH port open, let me go back into our recon. You can see port 22, we're running SSH. Let's try to SSH as that user. So we're going to SSH Linogard at 10.129.170.249. And then for our password, we're going to enter yes, so that we're good with connecting. And we're going to enter that password that we found. And boom, we have access as our low-level user, Inogard, whatever it is. Okay, so now that we have access to our user, we can go ahead and list the contents of our current directory, and we can look at that user.txt file and get our flag there. Another thing I always like to run is sudo -l and I'll enter that password again. And we can't run anything as sudo. I'll look at history, nothing in history. We'll look at the environment, and spoiler alert, there's nothing in the environment that's really that important either here. So we're going to go ahead and clear that, and we're going to look at our main directory again. And as we remember, there was a 300,000 ticket in request tracker that he said he downloaded for that other user, which had a dump. So we're going to go ahead and unzip that rt30,000.zip file. And when we unzip it, we'll see it created two new files. We got the keypass dump full.dump and the passcodes.kdbx, which is a keypass file. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded these to my machine ahead of time, just to make this video quicker. And when we try to open this passcodes, this keypass file, it asks for a master password. Now you can do something like John or keypass to John to convert this to a hash and try to crack the password for this keypass file, which I recommend trying, but just to save time as well, just so you know, it's not something that's going to be easily crackable with a large password list, and it's not our route right here. So we have this other file, this keypass dump full file. And eventually, if we run a search on Google for keypass dump file password, we're going to come across this CVE 2023 32784, which describes an exploit in the keypass dump files where you can extract passwords from them. And eventually that'll take us to a GitHub page where someone has written a Python script, this keypass dump.py, to extract the passwords from this file. So I went ahead, again, already pre-downloaded this keypass dump.py, and we're going to go ahead and run it. Let's go into a new shell and go back into our folder there. So we've got that keypass.dump.py, so we're going to use Python keypass.dump.py, and we're going to use the F flag for the file that we're using, and we're going to use -- full scan. And I'll pause and continue when it's complete. Hey, so a quick modification on the command that we ran before. We're actually not going to run that -- full scan because we run into an error when we run that. So we're just going to run the F flag and put in our dump file. And then the output, the extracted, we're going to get this unknown output, and then this dgrd med FLDE. So we can try to enter this as the password for the keypass file. This isn't going to work, as another spoiler alert. But if we go ahead and Google that phrase, we can see it's a Swedish or Nordic dish. And what we can do instead is we can copy the actual name of the dish here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, paste that into my notepad here. And then I'm going to attempt to open my keypass file. So I actually came across an error when trying to run or open that keypass file from the file manager with the this keypass2 program that I was trying to run. So instead of just keep trying to troubleshoot that, I actually installed a different keypass viewer. So it's called keypass XC. You can install with the APT tool. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Then I already have it pulled up here, but it's going to ask you which file you want to open. And I chose that passcodes.kdbx file. And then let's go ahead and copy our password that we found through Google and try it out. We're going to enter it in here, click unlock, and we get access to the keypass file. So we're going to go through our folders here, and we come across one here called network with a username root. We're going to go ahead and click on that. We can see there's a password listed. If we copy this password and attempt to SSH or switch users from our lower level to root, this password won't actually work. But if we look below it, we can actually see a putty file in here, an RSA key. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy all that. We're going to go back into our terminal here, and we're going to vim, let's call it putty.key. We're going to paste that in here. And then there's a tool we can use, and it's called, let me look at my notes, puttygen. So we're going to use puttygen, and we're going to enter that key that we just had. We're going to use -o private open SSH, and we're going to put the output as, I'm going to call it private.key. And what this is going to do is going to turn that putty key into a key we can use to SSH. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now we've got our private.key file, and we're going to attempt to SSH. We're going to do root at, let's pull up our IP again. And then we're going to use the I flag because we're using a key file. We're going to use that private.key and we're going to enter. All right, coming back after about 20 seconds. It just takes a little while to load on my machine. We get root access. So let's go ahead and take a look. ID, we got root, cd into root. Everything in there. Then we can look at that root.txt file and grab our flag. So that was Keeper. As promised, nice and quick. I hope you were able to take some good notes, maybe take something away from this video. As I've said before, if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And other than that, I will see you on the next video.